guys, and welcome to this episode of the Fullout Cheer Podcast. Today, I am with Justin. I just think he's so handsome. This is my husband, and we own a gym together and also do Next Gen together.
And she's pretty cute.
Well, thanks. Yeah. And last week on part 1, we talked about what it was like to incur debt in our business and the value and the challenges and the risk that you take by incurring debt and if debt's really worth it. So on this episode, we are going to finish up that discussion today and talk to you about what kind of debt you should avoid and what kind of debt maybe isn't quite as risky. So let's get into it.
Let's go.
So I wanted to talk about some of the debts we've taken out over the years.
Sure.
And if we felt like they were worth it.
Okay.
Okay.
Got questions. Go ahead.
Okay. So 2014. So we opened in 2013, March 2013. January 2014, we opened location number 2.
Oh, yeah. Ambitious. The word ambitious. That's the word for the day.
I'm not going to say I regret it. It was about 30 minutes away from our location number 1, but it's a bigger city. I didn't regret it for the business decision.
Well, when you grow as fast as you did, and we had 4 owners, we thought we could rock that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we should have been able to, but I don't know that we were quite, we were pretty well systemized by then. I think we were great at marketing. It was just a natural, it was natural for us. We were not the best at staffing yet.
Yeah.
We didn't know how to hire great staff and how to train people. And we kept getting people with no experience or very minimal experience. And we didn't know what to do with them.
And then researching the locations as well.
Yeah, that was definitely trial and error because we were trying to operate it exactly the same as location number 1. And it just didn't work that way. You had to make some modifications. So hindsight, we took out another $40,000 and it was mostly personal. I think it was almost all personal because, we had a good thriving business. But by that point, Angie and I were full time.
Yep.
We couldn't stop getting paid, in order to save up to open location number 2. We were able to utilize some of the same resources like website and stuff. But yeah, that was big debt number 2.
What do you got next?
Okay. So we opened the second location and then we can't staff it. And we're like, oh my gosh, the only way to staff it is to buy a vehicle, hire all the staff in Warrensburg and have them drive this vehicle over there. And you might be thinking 30 minutes. We employ college kids. They will make as much as they spend in gas and mileage and all that stuff.
So what car did we get, Danielle?
We got this little Prius.
The Toyota Prius. Yeah.
It looked like a little taxi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got it wrapped so that it was at least good marketing. So that was debt number 3, little Prius. Do you think that one was worth it?
Actually, it saved us a bunch of money because we used it.
I agree.
We used that car for them to go all kinds of places. And it got 50, 60 miles a gallon. So
yeah,
it was pretty good. And honestly, we sold it because they hold their value. So a little bit of return on investment there, but they do hold their value. So we got majority of the money back after we did sell it because cars went up in price. So it worked out on that one.
Yeah, that one wasn't too bad. I didn't think that was a terrible investment. And you're talking a monthly car payment. It did have commercial insurance. It was, I think, commercial loan. So that part,
no.
Well, because our staff was driving it and we had to have
the commercial insurance.
Yeah.
For sure.
So yeah, debt number 3, I think it was worth it. We probably saved in gas and mileage that we would have paid coaches by just having that little Prius that got great gas mileage. And we went to Chicago conference. We're out of Kansas City. We went to Chicago.
Yeah, group used it.
Conference. We had 2 coaches drive it all the way to Virginia Beach one year for competition. And so, yeah, I think it was worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. Debt number, what are we on? 4?
That was 2.
No, location number 2 was debt number 2.
Okay. Well, let's go.
Okay. So then we get in this facility at the second location and we're doing really good during the school year and May rolls around and it is impossible to keep kids because we don't have air conditioning.
Yep.
We are doing everything we can to keep people to stay. I'm teaching private lessons in the lobby, clearing chairs out because the lobby was the only air conditioned spot in the whole gym. I have kids having asthma attacks because of the humidity. People were dropping like flies that summer.
So this was truly a return on investment type loan.
Yeah.
And so we looked at it and looking at the amount of kids that we currently had versus the amount of kids that we were losing. And we said, what is the cost of putting air in here? So we got some quotes, looked at it, and we were like, actually, we're dumb if we don't do this, because if we have insurance, we're going to make this much money. And if we don't, did I say insurance? AC.
Yeah. AC,
if we don't have AC, we're going to be making this much. And if we do, we're making this much. And there was a huge profit margin in there. So yeah.
Well, profit, yes, but more like stabilization. Probably.
Yeah. And just not the ebbs and flows of a gym like that.
Yeah. Well, and we weren't even like to where today, summer are some of our biggest months because we have summer camp, full day summer camp and specialty camps and all these things. No way anybody would have come for summer camp in 105 degrees, humidity. And, we had bay doors, but it didn't do anything.
It's just stale air.
Yeah. So we took out a loan for about $30,000. We did AC units and a big ass fan. Which you put a B on it, and now it's a big bass fan.
Yeah, so because it's labeled that way too, and so I just put big bass fan. But it still has a donkey with its butt hanging out. So I mean, it's kind of, parents thought it was comical.
Yeah, they thought it was pretty funny. So that was kind of debt number 4, and we're 18 months into owning a gym. That said, hindsight.
Now, we put that loan into somebody else's building. So that's another thing to think about.
Good point.
We were going to lose that, and we knew it, but it had to do with the longevity. Yep. How long we were going to be able to use it. It ended up working out pretty well because the big bass fan could take back off, and we could resell it. And we did that when we left that location. But the AC, we actually worked into the lease. So
the final month's payments.
Yeah, the final month's payments, because we were able to leave early and not have any debt against, that lease, because we had that much value in the AC units,
right.
Which we could have taken as well, but the owner did want them. So
yeah. Well, and here's the thing, do the math, because it was $30,000, but over the course of, I was going to say 3 months, but honestly, you're using air conditioning in Missouri, probably 5 to 6 months a year.
At least. Yeah.
And so over the course, let's just say out of 5 months, that's $6,000 a month. Now, let's say you're using it for 2 years, which we did. We used it for at least 2 summers of that lease. And so now, what is that? $3,000 a month? You just have to retain more than $3,000 a month of kids, and you already just did better than you had done before.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I think it was, people hear that and I'm like, yeah, we invested that kind of money into somebody else's building, and they're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. But I mean, it's a return on investment type stuff. It's not like we're fixing the other person's roof or,
I mean, we did that at our other facility. We had all kinds of things that weren't ours that were into that lease. Right?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Sprinkler. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh.
Boy, could we go down that road of what it's like to rent.
Oh, yeah.
But, okay. So then, no, I don't know. We're on number 5 here. We are coming toward the end of our lease. We're within about 6 months of the end of our lease at our first location. And our landlord knows we're doing well.
Oh, yeah.
His kids go there. He sees the number of people coming in the building. He, though nice, is not necessarily known for not being a business guy.
Yeah. A little bit of a Scrooge.
So we kind of know our lease is about to skyrocket if we have to.
But he did give us a good deal. You got to admit, he did give us a good deal initially.
Sure.
Because it sat vacant for 2 years. So when things sit vacant for a while, people are a little bit more lenient. And anyways, it allowed us to get into something at a cheaper rate. But then as we did well, he was like, okay, we're going to bring it back to normal and we're going to raise the rent. So
right. And so we kind of knew that was going to happen. So right around 2015, about 6 months out from that lease ending, Justin quits his full-time job. And we basically fund for about 4 or 5 months. We fund Justin to go find us a facility, get us an SBA loan to purchase a facility. And then it was getting that loan was a lot of work.
Oh, man.
It was a lot of
9
work.
months. Yeah. SBAs take a while.
Yeah. Especially when
But they're worth it. They're so worth it, though.
I agree.
Yeah.
Especially when they lose your paperwork and you have to resubmit the same paperwork you've already submitted.
But what caused that, though, was with that landlord doing that, it forced us to expand, look for new. And eventually, at that point, purchase our own facility. And it's exactly what we needed. At the time, it was super stressful because you're just sitting here going, oh my gosh, why does it have to be like, why does he got to be so greedy? Why does, but it actually was the best thing that ever happened to us because of that, it forced us to go out, and we found a facility over 2 times the size that we were in, and a locked in price that we could afford. And it was incredible. It allowed us to expand and grow like we never thought.
And if you guys are thinking like, I could never find a facility that meets my requirements, like, I'm going to be honest, this doesn't 100% meet our requirements. No. Like, my kids hit the ceiling. Luckily, they don't hit the metal beams, but they hit the center sometimes.
We got to move them on the floor a little bit. So
yeah,
they don't hit the beam.
Yeah, I actually ask for, I'm like, I need my tallest basket in the center every year for choreography. And there's a rule. If you're on a youth team or below and your basket hits, well, I guess it would just be youth team, and your basket hits the ceiling, you get a cookie. It wasn't the perfect facility, which is what I always hear gym owners. They're like, it's so expensive because I need this and this and this, and I can't have poles in the center. No, we have poles that divide floors sometimes. Not a full floor, but like, it's not the most convenient pole. We made it work though. Like, it became the facility we needed it to be. And it's pretty cool. And I'm excited to actually have CheerBiz Accelerator here.
Yes.
Both in January and February, because people are going to see, how do you turn this old church this used to be a sanctuary, like this old church and old youth group area.
Now, it doesn't have a steeple and it's not made out of brick. It's a metal building, but it had been used as a church prior to us.
So, I mean, we had to cut a baptismal
Danielle says
tank.
That, and people are thinking like, oh man, you're like Sunday schools over here. No, it wasn't. It's a metal building.
No, but there was a mural of Jesus on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I'm going to find that picture one day. So yeah, that was one of our big, and I'm not even going to say debt. Like, yes, we're still paying it off, but like investment.
Right.
So then I think the next one, 2020 rolls around, and we're like, we get this temporary childcare license during 2020 so that we can continue making some money in the summer doing childcare, because the other government facilities that ran childcare in our town were not open and operational, but people still had to go to work at one point. By summer, most people in Missouri were going to work.
Right.
And so we decide we're going to run summer camp. We have 97 kids. And then about 10 days before school starts, we're like, we're going to run an after school program. And we decide that
opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we decide that we are going to go buy a school bus, but not a school bus, like a small school bus.
Yeah. Like more like a,
14.
Well, it kind of goes along with what the building used to be. It's kind of a church bus.
Oh yeah, it is.
So yeah, it actually was a church bus, but yeah, so we saw the need. I started doing research again and found a bus company that sold used buses out of Minneapolis. So yeah,
Indiana. I think it was Indiana. Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm. Indianapolis.
Yeah, because I bought you
that. It was Minneapolis. Okay.
No, I remember. It's
been a while.
I bought Justin a one-way plane ticket, and I'm like, hope the bus works out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I found it. I researched it, called people, and then I took a one-way plane ticket out there, and they picked me up at the airport, brought me to the bus, and it was a bus lot. And I've never seen a lot this big with so many buses. Like it was loaded. And then they pulled this bus up, and I started looking it over, and I ended up driving it straight from there.
Yeah.
I had a cashier's check. I remember that.
Yeah.
I had literally a backpack and a cashier's check, and I was ready to drive. So
yeah. And we had taken a loan out on that. Now at the time, we probably could have invested a decent amount of cash into that. But I think that brings up, there are times that it's valuable to use cash. And there are times it's valuable to take out a loan.
Yeah.
2020 was a time that I just wasn't willing to give out cash. If we were able to get a loan, I was not willing to give our cash away.
Well, and especially for a vehicle.
Right.
They depreciate at a certain level, and there's not really much of an investment because of the interest rates too on those. Mm-hmm. They're pretty low interest rates.
Right.
There's not much of an investment on a vehicle. So as a matter of fact, there's usually not an investment on a vehicle. So they're just depreciating assets. So
yeah. And then without going into too much detail, we had bought this gym and we bought this church, and it needed a lot of renovation, and we had taken out a construction loan because the front of it needed to be redone and stuff like that. And then we get through, I think 2023, and we had been paying cash for all of the renovations at that point.
Yep.
And I come to
it's called nickel and diamond.
Boy,
we nickel and dimed the business because it was like, I need some paint over here. I need this. I need some.
The problem is we nickel and dimed over $100,000 that year.
Yep.
And I sit down and it's kind of the end of the year and I, looked at all the P&L statements and I say to Justin and our business partners, I'm like, here's the problem. We just did this out of all of our savings and depleted a decent amount of savings, but good investments, things that had to be done to new AC units and new lighting in the building and new lighting a second time in the building. Mm-hmm. Long story. But, and all these things, but I'm like, here's the problem. We won't see a return on those for many, many years because you'll probably see the return when you sell the building on some of those renovations, right? You'll see.
Well, some of it's just beautification,
right,
and cleanup and covering up stuff that doesn't need to be seen. That,
right.
When you drop a drop ceiling, it exposes a whole bunch of, duct work and stuff that, normally you wouldn't see. And it's just ugly. So,
but I can't immediately say it was like a bounce house purchase where you purchase your bounce house and now you're like, cool, I can now charge more for birthday parties. I can offer more birthday parties, etc. It wasn't something that you could tangibly say, I invested this and now I can see this return.
The return was this. Justin, that is so ugly. Look at the pictures. When I take pictures, this is what it looks like. Oh, I just can't even take pictures in the gym. So that the investment is your wife's happiness. So there is a difference.
Yes, there is. Yes, sir.
So there was a return on investment on that one too.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. And one of those construction loans, now I will say one of them was putting bathrooms down in one end of our building.
Yes.
And those of you who come to the Cheer Biz Accelerator are going to see we have 4 bathrooms down on one end of the building that then allowed us, plus a fire alarm system down there, then allowed us to increase capacity on our childcare license, which does have a very tangible return on investment, provided that you're filling those spots.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So all of this to tell you, and we've had some personal, we've taken out, some mortgage loans to buy rentals and some different things. All of this to tell you, is it worth it? And how do you know when it's worth it to take out debt for something?
Yeah. So the big thing on this is research. Making sure there's a return on investment. What are you spending? Do you have to spend this much or can you spend this much? Is it 100,000 or can I spend 50,000? Mm-hmm. Because 50,000 is a lot easier to manage than 100,000 when the business is not doing well. And people do have to pull from personal finances to make it through a month or two. Summers are typically harder for gyms.
Right.
And so, what do you have to do? And what do you want to do? That might be a difference right there for you.
Yeah. And I think as well, if investing in something means that you're having to pull from competition fees or uniform fees that you've collected, and now you're like, but if I use that money right now to buy this spring floor, I'm going to make my money back on it. I'm here to tell you, I do not recommend that. There have been gyms over the years that have made literally national headlines because they have used funds they collected for one thing, used them for another, and then not been able to pay for the competitions that those parents paid for. It's a little bit about budget allocation here. If you collected it for one thing, don't use it for something else.
That's a little bit of the kettle calling the pot black here.
Why? Why do you say that?
Yeah, because you've done that.
Oh, yeah. I know that for a fact because of that. Well, and when we bought our building,
I don't mean to be calling you out on air here,
and yet he did.
But I just did. But there's something to learn from it, though.
Yeah, I mean, when we bought our building, I think we had to put down $120,000 to put down, and it was scraping every quarter from everything we had.
We used everything because we knew that return on investment was going to be huge.
Yeah.
And it has been.
But I was pretty careful to not. Yeah, I was pretty careful still. Yeah. I think I could have been better.
We had a game plan and it worked.
Yeah. Yep. So the moral here is, what would I not take loans out for? If you already have baseline equipment and you can operate tumbling classes, I personally would not take out, this is just me, I personally would not take out loans for more equipment. Now, if you're moving from a 2,000 square foot building to a 10,000 square foot building, and now you have all the opportunity to get more kids in the door, but you have to fill that space, okay, you can probably sell me on that. Mm-hmm. get the equipment, but don't go overboard. I once tried to convince Justin to let me spend, what was it, like $5,000 or $6,000 on that SAM spotting device.
Oh, yeah.
To spot like standing tucks. Do you know how I spot them today? With the arm right here. And it works just fine. And so we could have made some really poor investments over the years, but we kind of drew that line of like, we're not going to, if we have basic equipment to run classes, we're not going to use loans to buy more equipment.
You know, there's something else to think about too. If your gym and you're looking at expanding and moving into something else, if your gym has got waiting lists and you're packed out, you literally can't get another kid in the gym, and you're moving from 4,000 square feet to 10,000 square feet, and you need to add that more space, you need to add more equipment to service all the people that are wanting your services, that totally makes sense. Now, once again, do you need brand new birchwood floors? Do you need all of that like brand new, or could you find some that are used and pull them in and do that at the beginning? You could, like, you can alleviate the amount of debt that you have by doing stuff like that, and then slowly replace them, you know, with brand new stuff as they start wearing out, because they will wear out faster being used. But at the same time, most of this equipment lasts a long time. Even cheer floors, they will like, people talk about them being broken and stuff. And it's few and far between. Yeah. Unless you're moving them a lot. Once they're down and in place, like, it's very rare that they're getting broke. Now, flexi mats and stuff like that, they do wear out over time.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Crash mats, those types of things. Those, but they get a lot of use. But those are not the most expensive things in a gym. So
right. Yeah. Yeah. I was actually talking recently to the athletic director at our high school, and he's like, oh, we're just going to need new mats for that room soon. And he's talking carpet bonded foam or flexi rolls. I actually don't know which they are because I've never lifted them. But he was saying, yeah, they're like 7 years old. And I was like, oh, are they? And I just thought, you got another 10 years out of those. Like, take good care of them, you got 10 more years. But that's, from people who maybe don't know, like, your equipment can last a long time. That said, if you don't take care of it, it won't. Years ago, I remember I had a staff member dragging a wedge mat across the floor, and I went over and I was like, hi, can we not drag equipment? Because I want that equipment to last for a long time. It's so expensive. And they were like, oh yeah, sorry. My old gym never said anything about it. And I'm like, I know. So there, take good care of your stuff. Things like a building. Like, would you take out a loan? And I guess the question is, would you take out a loan, Justin, for renovations on someone else's building that you're going to rent? Or would you take out a loan to buy your own building? Those are kind of two different scenarios.
Well, I mean, the second one's the one. I mean, honestly, right? I mean, you would always take out a loan to get your own building, especially if that building is going to give you the services that you need for a long period of time. Now, a 4,000 square foot building, I don't know if I would buy something like that, because, most cheer gyms can get a much bigger than what 4,000 can take care of. So I probably wouldn't purchase a 4,000 square foot building. I would probably just put money over here. So there are circumstances.
Well, and I guess I didn't mean that as an either or. Would you take out a loan to invest? I mean, technically we kind of did, because
we did both. We've done both.
Yeah. So much of the $40,000 was spent on, we need a wall here. We need to fix, we need to open this up for city code. We need to do this. Yep. I mean, I guess, we
didn't even back in the day, the huge banners across the back wall is the coolest thing now, because one, it covers up a lot of stuff that you don't have to paint and make look pretty. But back in the day, we didn't even do that. We painted our emblem on the wall. I think we used a projector, and we traced it out, and then we painted it on the wall. So, I mean, you can go bare. And the thing is, it didn't cause us not to grow. Right. The other gym had banners and had everything. Yeah. And had all of the, all the awards that they've won all across there. We didn't have any of that. Right. And yet we still did well. We still grew, and we grew very rapidly. So you just not think in your head that if I have this, it's not a field of dreams. Like, if I build it, they will come. No, it's not that way. It's, if I provide a great product and at a great price and do a great job, they will come. Yeah. And then I can have the gym of my dreams later. Yeah. Like, it doesn't have to be. Now, if you've got, and this is another aspect, if you've got money that you want to invest and you've been holding on, this is what I want to do. I have, $300,000 in the bank and I want to spend $100,000 to completely outfit a gym. It's not putting you in debt. Right. That's a totally different aspect. And we've had people do that, and that's great. Like if you have that. But on the other hand, if you don't have that, you don't have to start out that way.
Right.
Will it take you a little bit longer and slowly build up your gym to the point where the other one might have gone faster? Absolutely. But just because you don't have $100,000 to drop doesn't mean you can't have the gym that the $100,000 people would have.
Yeah.
No, it'll take you 3 years to get there instead of, year 2. I don't know, whatever that.
I also think in that startup cost, putting in there something for education, because I can't tell you, and I wouldn't have said this in 2013 because I didn't know, but like we've worked with so many gym owners now who are like, yeah, here's what I'm going to buy with my startup budget.
Yep.
And I literally did you hear at the Cheer Biz Accelerator, Dan had somebody come and the person said, this is my budget and this is what I'm going to buy with it. And he and Shelly were like, hold on a minute. You don't need this and this and this. You can use this instead.
And by the way, they're sitting at Cheer Biz Accelerator in a $1 million+ grossing gym. So Dan has new stuff. He's got banners
Sure.
It looks like, yes, I want this gym. But he was able to say, no, starting out, you don't need these things.
Yeah.
Start out with these things and then grow to get those other things. Those other things are wants.
Yeah. Now that owner invested her own money, $500 to go to that Cheer Biz Accelerator, and he literally saved her $30,000 at that event. So like there is value in saying I'm going to invest into an education, not only in hopes of making more money, but like the potential of saving money.
And just talking to people that understand what you do or what you're about to do. Or what you have been doing. Like just talking to somebody like that is just phenomenal. Like because you can't, the bad part about the cheer industry is you can't go to the gym down the street and ask them questions. The one that's been around for 18 years or whatever, you can't, it's just not, it's not cool. It's not, it's because they're competitive.
Right.
And but you can't do that. But in this case, you can. And it's really neat hanging out with people that have been successful and asking them questions. Yeah.
The last little part of this that I just want to say is there's some debt that can be better versus others. I've worked with a client before that had payday loans and cash advances.
You're bringing this all the way around. Good debt versus bad debt.
Yeah. Payday loans and cash advances, steer clear as far as you possibly can. I mean, if you have an emergency, I suppose that might be your only option, but man, those people, their interest rates are so high. And we've worked with owners that have weekly payments that are half of what they're bringing in every week. And that is a really hard position to be in. Credit cards, not my favorite, certainly as an option. So if you're, starting your gym, we did it. I think it took off 5 years. It took us 5 years to pay off that credit card. Mm-hmm. So not my preferred method of financing. Personal loans would be, I'm kind of going from like worst to best here.
Yep.
Personal loans, we've done it before for businesses. I think you can. I think it's a little bit hard if you don't have you or your spouse does not have another job.
Yep.
Because they want to see guaranteed income. And if you're like, but I'm going to use this to make my income by investing in the business, which is then going to allow me to do XYZ. I think it's hard for banks to be able to see that.
Or they use a vehicle, maybe a paid off vehicle.
Yeah.
That has a
or
certain
your
amount
house.
of value. Yeah. They usually want some kind of collateral.
Yeah. My personal preference, and I understand I'm speaking to the Americans here, but I know Canada, you have some other options. My personal preference would be an SBA loan.
Oh, absolutely.
We've done it with a couple of different businesses. Was one of our construction loans through SBA? Yeah.
Well, I think it was a construction loan that was going to roll right into an SBA.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they do a construction SBA.
Yeah.
No.
Now, 5 years ago when COVID hit, honestly, I will preach SBA loans forever because I think they paid 13 months. They paid our SBA loan. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to defer payments for 13 months. No, we are paying your SBA loan. Like the government did that to keep small businesses alive. So that's one. Sometimes the interest rates are better. There's not a big inflating arm so many years into it.
Right.
And there are some workarounds with how can you make, so let's say you're going to buy a facility and invest $100,000 and they're saying, okay, you need $20,000. Maybe you have equipment and there are some workarounds for how can you give that down payment via collateral.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So they're the hardest. I think they're probably the hardest to get and the most amount of work, and
they're not 30-year loans. These are 20-year loans when you're talking commercial SBA loans. Yeah. So which makes your payment a little bit higher because you were like, I'm thinking 30-year because everybody thinks like a residence, like, this is a mortgage type loan.
But if you're running your business well, like you say that and it sounds like, 20 years for your gym. Heck no, we got 11 years left on that guy.
Yeah.
And in 11 years, I'm just going to be.
It's paid for.
You're going to see me smiling on every episode.
Like that facility is ours. And but talk about an asset, something that business, and that's the biggest thing for that is we want everybody to own their own facility because you're paying rent to somebody. Yeah. You might as well pay rent to yourself. Yeah. And especially if that business is growing and showing profitability every year, and you can show that there's a certain profit margin going on every year. Banks love that stuff. And you're going to pay rent to somebody. Might as well be you, and the bank would love for you to own one. Right. I mean, honestly.
And I know a lot of you guys are probably sitting back like, there's no way it would be $3 million to get this and that. And maybe it won't ever be an option. But I would say for a vast majority, if you get your business to a certain point, it can be. We've had clients pay $2 million for facilities before because they've got their business to the point where they look at that monthly payment and they're like, yeah, I can do that. So
don't ever say no.
Yeah.
Because where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
It's a little slogan, but it really is. If you're out there pushing and you're doing a really good job at your gym and it's growing and profitability and everything, even reaching out to people that own facilities, they're like, no, I want $3 million for this facility, but what do you need? Maybe I can build you a building or something like that. And it may be just outside of town or something like that, or nearby. They have a lot. You just don't know. You don't know. But when you're out there asking and pressing, things happen. And other people call it luck. I don't call it luck because it's not luck. You are working for this and you're working hard. And when you're out there pressing, things happen to people that are pressing out there and pushing. And so that's why I push Danielle. Keep going.
Thanks for pushing.
Start this gym.
Okay, guys. So thank you for joining us on this episode of the Fullout Cheer Podcast. I have enjoyed having Justin back on. He's the real life of the party around here.
Keep pushing. Keep pushing.
Keep pushing. Keep pushing. So guys, with that, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you on the next episode.
Ciao.